Oh, man.
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Well, this is Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski, live from the corner of 7th and South Park Road. So, this is one for the books. I've had many guests on this show, and I got to do a disclaimer that we had nothing to do with this, so here he comes. You're not going to introduce yourself, are you?
I am a shark.
What? Who do you represent?
The Erie Aquatic Animals Group.
Hey, Mike, give Ed Kissel a call. He let one loose in the lake, I think. We'll get him taken care of. You're going to look good on my plate, let me tell you that.
No.
Oh, shark fin soup, that looks good. Yes, sirree.
I'm now leaving.
Like I said, I'd be back. What? DJ, what?
What the hell was that?
I don't know, but
that was crazy.
If you see him again, tell me. Is Halloween gone or what?
Wow. No, it is not.
I didn't know if you were a land shark looking for a property.
I don't know
to
what you're
buy,
talking about. Some weirdo over there.
You know, that might be a good idea during council meetings when we get these.
When you get the crazies that show up and are like, ah.
They're starting to show up in my show too now, but no, I'm going to miss you.
You've known about me being insane for a long time. This is not news.
I'm going to miss this, I'm telling you.
I know.
Hey, is that a Rocky Mountain High guy out?
We have a Colorado viewer with us today, straight from Colorado Springs.
He reminds me of those guys in a cowboy movie. He hasn't quite bought into it yet. He doesn't have the boots.
We call him Colorado Joe.
Colorado Joe?
Colorado Joe. He has a Western hat and boots.
I knew he was done when he wanted me to play a diesel song on my radio.
What?
Down in the silver mine.
I don't know that.
One hit wonder. So you're out for the rights of fish, I guess, now today.
No, it's that weird guy. He ran away. I have no idea where he went. No clue. But I'm semi-shaded today because I had some eye treatment down at...
How you feeling, okay?
I'm feeling okay. I just can't really see much of anything. And not just because of the glasses. It's they're fully dilated.
Well, it's been a very, very quiet week.
Has it?
Well,
for Erie in general?
We're coming out. Yeah, we're coming out of, Thanksgiving. And
well, everybody was sleeping after the turkey.
Everybody seems to be. But once again, everybody's slowly getting back to order.
Well,
this might be Eddie Kissel with the fish brigade.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Cass.
Yes.
I just want to how was your Thanksgiving?
It wasn't bad. How was yours?
Mine was pretty good. I ate a lot, though.
Is it too much? I mean, are you...
No, I ate too much.
I heard you had taken an addition onto your chair there.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to let you know, on 12th and State, when you come downtown, where that bank is,
yeah,
on the east side of the street, I'll say...
You mean where the old Commerce Building was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they leave you off of the bus there, and sometimes they have to pull up a little further.
Yeah, I never really looked at it, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Where the red bricks are in where they put them red bricks.
Yep.
And the sidewalk's a little higher than it. And sometimes you get off of that ramp on that bus, and you go down the ramp. If I hit it, sometimes I could hit it with my blade of my chair, my footrest. I think they need to either lift the bricks up so to be level with the sidewalk.
I think wherever they put bricks, my thing has always been, it seems like in the future somewhere there's always a problem. They either sink.
Yeah, they sink.
They sink or something else happens, but
Too bad that they could, there's a such thing as red cement. If they had red cement,
yeah, I've seen that.
you just put red cement in instead of them blocks, because you put the blocks in, they sink in, or...
I think on the street, those fake cement blocks they're not real bricks on the street.
Yeah.
So something like that, yeah, either that or, I'm not a builder. Maybe they need to put like a concrete pad underneath there.
Something like that, yeah. Or put some stone down and that so it won't sink in. It's like that all the way downstate. You go and look. The curb's higher than it.
I'll have to talk to, I don't know who's in charge of that. It could be the Downtown Improvement District.
Or I don't know if the streets department or anything has anything to do with that or not.
I'll talk to Johnny Buckner and ask him, I don't know what the deal is between the DID and the city on how they do that,
Yeah, but...
And maybe the bus company...
They put some cement before they put the brick, or put some packing stone so they won't sink in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we even had trouble when we took out some of the old bus stops on State Street.
Yeah.
They had, where the posts were attached, they had different issues that they had to take care of. Because when they took them out, they didn't grind them level, and people were tripping.
Right. And another thing I want to ask you, did you ever get a hold of the owner of that Walmart just past Raspberry out on Route 20?
Raspberry?
Yeah, on Asbury.
Oh, way out there. No, I didn't.
You're past Asbury?
No, I didn't. Why? You got a problem out there?
Yeah, I remember I mentioned about you talking to the owner to see if we could put a bus shelter out there.
Oh, that's going to be, a bus shelter.
A bus shelter, yeah.
I'll give, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give that to my bus liaison person. That's Jimmy Winarski. And I'm going to have him bring it up at the EMTA meeting.
Yeah.
Because that's really...
When I mentioned it to the bus driver says we can't just put it there.
No, what I'll do is...
Take it up with the owner.
Right, what I'll do is I'll give it to Jimmy to talk with Mr. Tan about. He's the guy with the bus, the EMTA director.
Yes.
And, between Mike Tan and maybe the owner. Because I know, where did I see the other day they took out another bus stop? Well, I thought they did.
Oh, no.
But they moved it. I saw it, So, I mean, what it is, see, let me make a note here, okay?
All right.
This is the one on Route 20.
Yeah.
The new one that they built out there on the west side.
Yes. Yeah, because they go down inside the parking lot, but they don't go all the way down in front of the place.
Where would you want the shelter?
Right where we wait for the bus.
Okay. Yeah, I'll bring it up to him. I'll leave him a note.
All right.
Or if sometimes Mr. Tan, he's due to give us an update on that project that they're building, the new terminal.
Yeah.
And, I'll make sure I bring it up to him there too and see if he has any thoughts on it.
Yeah, okay.
Because I know there was some talk about they were doing some little changes with their bus shelters.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you.
Yep, take it easy.
I sure gonna try.
And get some exercise. You need to work off that turkey.
Yeah. The only way I'll work off that turkey if they put an elevator in the Y on Penton Beach there.
Well, we're going to meet with her. Remember, I told you after a holiday, we're going to sit down with her.
All right.
But maybe you should set the example, not use the elevator. And, you'll be lean and mean again. What do you think? Oop.
All right.
No,
Okay.
All right.
thought you lost him on that one.
I thought he did.
You ever check out the Walmart, Elm Street Walmart, the one over on the east side?
Yeah, I was just there the other day, but...
You notice that they took out that bank that was there?
Yeah, they actually offered that bank to I can tell you now,
Yeah.
They offered that building to the city a while back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the problem was, it was they viewed it as, they thought it might be a nice site for police use.
Yeah, I know
And,
you had talked
you know,
about
we
that.
brought it up with a couple of the chiefs,
Yeah.
and they didn't think they had either the manpower or well, that is a problem, you know.
Yeah, but you
And
could,
you know, they looked at it, they did look at it.
I would say test it out.
And Walmart did want to try to get rid of the building. I don't know what the deal was, what they were willing to give us.
Well, it's gone now.
Yep. Go ahead, Taxpayer Hotline.
It's the Taxpayers Hotline.
Yeah.
Undefeated.
And then we can only talk to taxpayers, though.
Well, I pay more taxes than they do on the west side for the same house on the east side.
Well, nobody will believe you, though.
I know it, but you know what they say all the time, don't you?
What's that?
Location, location, location.
Yeah, or what did we hear? What do they call us? The unseen gem?
Yeah, I know. This is I forget what they called this. This was Kohler Establishment or whatever, way back when.
When you were?
Yeah.
I thought it was the Arbuckle Farm up there.
No, this was the Kohler Estate. For you.
You were at Kohler. See, my house is like where Arbuckle was.
Yeah.
When you look at the old maps, it was the Arbuckle Farm.
That's all right. You know, the state rep doesn't even know 38th Street's a state road.
Who?
Harkins.
He's got to know that.
No, he does now. After I got through with him, he knows it.
Why? What do you mean? They really did? I mean...
Well, I yacked about the contractor they had coming in doing the work, why they were giving the contract to an outside state, not somebody from in the state.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is, I don't get into the bidding, but like when they did the various projects involved the state, they have their own approved list a lot of times.
Yeah, that's true. Talking about approval in the state, what's the deal with this McBride Viaduct? Are we going to tear that down, or are we going to listen to that idiot from that out of town city where it's a completely different thing?
You know, they keep,
The boot.
you know, they're allowed their opinion, and you know, I read the whole report. It doesn't specifically address McBride Viaduct, okay?
Part of the reinvestment for the area to be prosperous again, which it will never be.
Well, here's the thing that they want to have another public hearing.
How many public hearings do you need?
Well, that's my question to them was the same thing. I'm saying, look, I understand what you're trying to do, but we've had public hearings as required. If we're going to do a public hearing every time we make a decision, you seen in the paper the other day, right, about the Warner Theater?
No, I didn't see that.
Well, it was bad news for them again. You know, after we have hustled...
They're holding the money. That's what that is.
Right. I mean, all the legislators, the mayor, the council, we've all wrote letters of support, you know, to get the project, because it's gone through, I forget how many governors. You know, it's been pledged since the days of, what was his name, the Republican one?
Williams.
No, before that. Not the mayor, the governor.
The governor?
The guy from Pittsburgh, remember? He got a lot of the stuff rolling in Erie.
The guy from...
He was Pittsburgh area Republican. He had glasses. What was he was a good governor as far as Erie goes, you know. And he visited up here, so he released the funds, but it's been a thing about every governor has found that, you know, it was a promise, but the money wasn't there. So,
just like Rendell.
yeah, so we finally got the money. And now, you know, because of the impasse in Harrisburg...
And Wolf won't cut the check.
Right, well, because they're saying, I can't cut it unless I know I got money coming in. So now, here's the project on hold again. And look, I yelled Casey for a lot of things, but here now he's left without a building with any kind of rental for a while that he was planning on workers in there. And now they tell him, well, we're not going to be working there. So now he's got to hustle business, which is hard to get at the last minute, you know, and now he's got to wait for another year maybe if the money's released. And if you've been in the Warner, they need the money, okay? There's no question about it. But now you take that to the bridge project. If we are to hold it up again, and all of a sudden the state and the feds who are paying 95% of the project, what if they say, well, you know what, they can't make up their mind in Erie, and, you know, we need a few extra dollars.
We'll send it elsewhere.
Yeah, we'll grab it here and we'll worry about them later. I mean, we're 90-some% into the project. The only thing holding it up is one piece right now that is in negotiation. And once that's done, everything else is ready to be go. I mean, we've been talking about this. God, Jimmy Thompson was on council.
True. Have you seen the design for the new turnaround up there for McBride Viaduct Bridge?
I don't think I went on the internet, but I think I've seen it before.
Looks pretty decent, and it's going to be an improvement. And these tree huggers that want that piece of dilapidated concrete fall on somebody and kill somebody, then who's going to be liable? Well,
the thing is, if we give up on that project, I mean, if we were to put money back in the bridge, if they would let us, and that means we have to go back to square one, redesign, more wasted money.
You know what that's going to do?
Yeah, and then what they're going to say is, well, then you don't need the Buffalo Road project.
Yeah, it's going to be a screaming halt to all money coming this way.
Yeah, so I mean, look, we told them, if you got a plan, find the money, you can have the bridge. We'll give you the bridge.
Yeah, but that's not the answer. The answer is the liabilities.
Well, yeah, we told them they'd have to take over everything. I mean, it was explained to them. These things they showed in other towns, sometimes the town went along with it, but in Erie's case, financially,
it's a dime out of nonprofits.
We told them, go ahead if you want it, you take over everything. Okay?
You can't just sell it to them for like $1 and then have them just take over the insurance?
But they haven't got any money. They haven't,
They need to do that.
And they say it's our fault, we say it's theirs, but the problem is that this project is, I wanted to know where they were when Father Jerry was fighting.
Yeah.
Father Jerry was raging that battle. They had public support really heavy in their favor. Mm-hmm. And that was when they were still planning what to do with the bridge. They hadn't made up their mind yet. We were still having the public hearings. I got to do what's right for the taxpayers. Right now we got money from two sources. It's still our money, but 95% of it's coming outside of our local tax base directly. Parts of it is in there.
The local tax base, we have to do something with that. I don't care what. These people are happy because Joe came out with a balanced budget. A balanced budget is not going to help the city of Erie.
No, and the only way, I talked to someone the other day, we have to raise taxes by bringing people into the city.
That's true.
And, you have to get our assessed value back up, but...
Have the chamber helping you, your redevelopment authority in City Hall, what are they doing? They're sitting on their duffs.
I think, if there's one thing I like what Schember talked about, and I think we've needed it a long time, but I hope he does... I said that, if I had run for that position, the one thing I would have liked to have seen is a proactive person going out and actually knocking on doors of these corporations.
Well, I heard another big one's coming in Mill Creek.
You sure it's not Harbor Creek?
No, Mill Creek, this one is the old closed down Kmart. It's another club like Sam's Club, and I won't say who it is.
Well, I heard the other rumor is they might be heading east.
Well, they are heading east. Sorry, west. They're going to the old Kmart.
So, which old Kmart, on the west side?
26th Street.
I heard they're going maybe east.
Well, maybe we better get together and...
Maybe we'll have two of them. There's nothing that says we can't have two.
Drive a golden stake in the ground like the two railroads coming together.
It's a wild rumor, but I heard there's one planned on the east side. In fact, I can tell you that years ago they looked at a site on the east side. Walmart and Sheetz looked at a site, because I was told by the developer, the guy that owned the land, and then Walmart at the last minute decided to go to Elm Street.
Yeah.
But this other piece of property was in the running. However, there's another piece of property further east that's garnering some, I heard. So either we're going to get two, John, or the rumors are getting mixed.
But maybe I got it mixed up.
I'll get together with you. I'll tell you who told me.
Well, I heard from somebody down from Pittsburgh way where they have their monster store.
Well, they can. There's nothing said they can't have two.
No, that's true.
But it'd be highly unusual. But
Yeah, because they're about a 4-story building down there. They have. They carry everything from soup to nuts.
Really?
Yes.
You know, here's what gets me, though. Now you're starting to make me think it's not what I'm thinking of. Daddy, we do have to call you.
Yeah.
Because if I think what you're saying is that maybe, if I gave a letter, would that be proper?
It's
Go
going to come
ahead.
out eventually.
An I letter?
9-letter?
I is an iota.
Yeah.
It's not C, right?
No, it's C.
It's C. Okay, then you and I heard the same rumor. But I'll get together with you. But you know what? Here's what we need to do.
But you know, they sell everything from soup to nuts.
Yep, I didn't know that, but
Clothes.
but we need a guy here
You got to get somebody in that development office.
to go knocking on a door. What you do is you walk up to, hey John, I met guys on a plane when I was flying back. They were real estate agents for different restaurant chains, and I would talk to them. And, you know, a lot of people say, oh yeah, but they bet you got tired of that conversation. But, you know, they were nice guys, and you talk to them, and they'd say, they would tell you the reasons why they do or they don't do things.
Yeah.
You know, what they're looking for.
Well, you know, the problem we have, that convention center down there, their staff, their leaders and all that,
Yeah.
they're going the wrong way. You got Scott who built 2 IHOPs,
Yeah.
built them. There's one in Mill Creek and one up in almost Kearsarge.
Yep, and they think they're going to probably put another one in Harbor Creek.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I understand that chicken chain's going to come in out there, Popeyes.
Yeah, but not in Harbor Creek right now.
Yes, I think so.
Well, they announced on TV the other day that their building permit expired.
Well,
They have to redo it again. But here's something that's interesting, John. My parish priest, my old one, actually contacted a classmate who was a procurer of real estate for a large franchise company. And he said, you know, my parishioners would love to have a restaurant like yours.
yeah.
And you know, he wasn't in the position to negotiate, and he kind of got, not blown off, but the guy said, well, it doesn't fit our profile. This is where we need a guy or a lady or somebody to go in there, knock on the doors of these corporations and say, well, what specifically do you want and what can we do to get you to come here? If you remember when you and I were young, John, all the big things came here.
Well, sure. We had the ore docks, the pulpwood docks.
But even, I mean, all the new things that happened, the Kmart's, all that, we got all that. You know, so let's go back and find out, you know, are there areas of the city they definitely won't come to? Why? What can we do to make them come there? Or are there areas that we could entice them to coming into?
For that is the chamber. They're advertising our city as a tourist town.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, when we meet, I will tell you of a company that was going to do business here who changed their mind at the last minute. And this is where you need the right people in the right offices to kind of push it. People, if they're going to get, I mean, look, it's nice that councilmen and mayors do it, but really you need somebody on the ground floor that has the expertise to go out there and say, you know, we want you here. Like Buffalo, they went out and they got a movie theater downtown. They got Southwest Airlines to come in, and they did this by going out and basically bugging people.
And they got that Skyline Bridge scares the hell out of me every time I go over it.
Yeah. But you know what, John? That's what we need. You're right. We need somebody to go out there and say, what, you know.
Then we have a detriment, too.
What's that?
Started that detriment when John Q. voters voted down the fluoride, the fluoridation. And he went ahead and told the authority had a couple of controls on it to go ahead and do it anyway. Now, that's another thing that will hold down businesses.
Possibly, you're right.
So, I got one more quick thing here.
Go ahead, John.
I yapped about the redevelopment backing into their check and the chamber not doing anything. Yes, here it is. Are we going to see the trees in 38th Street medial or the middle?
The last time I talked to the traffic engineer, and
we should be talking to Sarah Galloway. They're not putting any trees in.
Well, it's kind of complicated. What they're doing is they're changing the entrance at the VA hospital.
Yeah, there's no tree in that section.
No, there isn't. So the last thought process I had after talking with the parties involved, and I even talked to the gentleman that represents PennDOT, Bill Pettit, they were still deciding in their mind. The boulevard was going back, but they were deciding. It sounded to me like, yes, there were going to be trees, but they were deciding what kind to put in there.
Well, you got to put something in low.
Yeah.
And
So
you're a slow grower.
I think the plan is, John, to put some trees back, the last I heard, but it's really between PennDOT and all them.
Decorative, slow-growing tree.
Yeah, but, a lot of it had to do with what they were doing with the VA hospital. They're trying to take care of that situation.
He's done a good job there, and the sad part about the gas company, when they run that big gas line in, they should have kept going all the way.
What did they do wrong?
They put a new gas line in from the entranceway all the way down to French.
Oh.
I mean, it looked like about probably it'll hold.
See, this is what happens when we do long-range planning.
Nobody gets together.
Yeah, I mean, what they need to do is sit down with. This is what they try to do with that war room concept. Is you get all the people together that have a vested interest in an area.
True.
Anybody you think might have an interest, even in the future, and you say,
everybody should have had interest. The sewer,
well, yeah, and then you say, well, what's your plans for the
water.
future? If they had talked to the VA, let's say, and the VA said, long range, we got problems with that driveway. So that would have been the time to say, well, what's the thought process? Because, that is a state highway, so now you got to get PennDOT's permission to change where your driveway is.
True.
Even on a small scale, when you look at my pharmacy, what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When they wanted to put a driveway in, they had all kinds of problems with the Commonwealth. And,
And look what they did with the water, the sewer and all that. They had to keep coming back. Every winter it broke in 3-4 different places. If they would have repaired the thing all the way, run a whole project, like from Pine Avenue all the way to the McClellan.
Yep, there's a road they got away from everybody. It just kept growing and growing.
That's true. So what can I tell you?
I'll give you a call when I get later on.
Yeah,
We'll check our rumors together.
I got quite a few more, but I'm going to keep them under hat. What we need is to get, like you say, get together, have these people making that big salary walk into their checks, not back into it.
Yeah, I want to see them actually go out and, take, I don't mind spending a little money. Put them on an airplane, take them to some headquarters and say, how do we get you here? Make it not for, make it for something nice, like.
How it's done. So.
Yeah, like a nice corporation, some that will have a long-term effect on the city.
So when are you having your budget sessions?
We're starting, actually, the 7th.
The 7th?
6th or 7th, that's our council meeting.
Done by the 9th.
Our council meeting will be that Wednesday, the 6th or 7th.
So it'll be done by the 9th.
And then we got 2 more meetings after that that are scheduled. They'll be advertised.
It'll be done by the 9th.
No, it'll be done.
Cut and dry. Are your new council people going to come in?
They'll be welcome to, and so will the new mayor.
Well, the new mayor should be able to handle this because he's the financial expert.
Well, we won't get done by the 9th. We'll be done a little later in the month.
Well,
but what we traditionally do is we've already voted on the first ordinance.
Are you going to have the itinerary on the computer on your website?
You mean televised?
Television plus who are you going to be contacting in what order?
Yeah, that should be on there. I can tell you this: it's going to be police and fire the first day.
80% of the budget, right there.
That'll be the first day, and then the second meeting will be public works, our other big one, and that'll take a while to go through that. And then the third day will be revenue and expenses as general.
That's the one that Chambers says there's $5 million surplus. So
we'll find out.
We'll find out. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Take care. Before anybody else calls,
we cleared up a lot there, though.
There was a lot there. I was going to talk about. It's going to be a lot harder to get brick and mortar stores because society seems to be going.
Well, it's true, but how about this though?
Doing online stuff.
How about going after the warehouses?
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to say. Why can't we get, like we've talked about it before, we've talked about getting Amazon in here or UPS, a large warehouse type company. Now, whenever it sounds to me like you're working on possibly getting them to hire a person to do this job you keep talking about.
You mean the CBA agreement?
Well, you and I talk about it all the time.
Thought?
Yes.
Can you seriously hold it?
Yes, I'm holding it.
I'm interested in what you're saying. I really am. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Cass.
Yeah.
I have a question. You remember on 19th Street they were going to put that poles? We're going to do that recyclable place.
Yeah, you mean Pole place, right?
Are you still going to do it?
I haven't heard him say anything contrary to that.
What is it?
Pole. I forget what the whole name of the company is. He's building like a transfer station there, if I remember right, Lloyd?
Yes, yes.
It's like a transfer station where they bring all those big. You see these buckets around town that they take it there and then they'll take it to the other place.
Buckets like
those your barrels in the back of businesses.
Oh, okay.
The ones that they lift up on a truck and.
I gotcha.
Yeah, the trash bins.
So it's like a garbage.
It's going to be. He's going to build a place where there's everything stored nice and neat, is what he told us.
And clean, hopefully.
And clean. He's supposed to have it enclosed and everything.
The neighbors have talked about stuff like that.
It's supposed to be enclosed and everything. And last I heard, Lloyd, that was still a go.
No, we haven't heard any more.
Yeah, nothing has come to council that said he's backed off on that. You want me to check on it?
Yeah.
Well, free too.
Okay, yeah, because the last time we talked to him, I don't know what his timeline was exactly, but I can check with a few people upstairs.
Yeah, he's been buying a lot of places on the 18th.
Well, yeah, he owns a lot of that land already. If I remember right, there was only a couple of houses that you felt bad that they were kind of in the way of his project.
Yeah, there were 2 houses.
Yeah, and we tried to tell him to be, try to be
Nice to the neighbors.
Yeah, because there were people that have lived there all their lives.
Yeah. Hey, over the weekend, Jim Bernarski's son got married, huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was just talking to him.
Is that the one that was dating the Russian girl?
I don't know who he's dating.
If it's the same son I met at Zabava.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to ask Jimmy because. Yeah, she was. He had his fiance at.
Zabava.
Yeah, and I was talking a little Russian to her along with my Polish, my Russian is very bad.
Da.
No.
Now, my Polish bad, too.
I can get past Das Vidania a little bit.
Dos Vidonia. You have to have the accent right, too.
Yeah, see, I can't do
Dos
that.
Vidonia.
Lloyd is the mayor down there anyway.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Right, Lloyd?
Mm-hmm.
I'm half German, I'm half French.
Yeah, but you're the mayor down there, aren't you?
No.
What do you mean? I heard you were the mayor-elect down there.
No.
We're going to put a sign up. We call it Lloydville.
Lloydville.
What do you think? Well, how about the House of Lloyd? Would that be okay?
No, that's taken. You can't do that.
Oh.
That's a thing.
Do I have to talk to Barb first, Lloyd?
Yeah.
Would she let you be the mayor down there?
No. She's the boss of the house.
Yeah, she's pretty tough to deal with. I got to admit that.
Oh, yeah.
She's a good lady, though.
If I get out of hand, she'll tell me.
Oh yeah, she'll tell all of us. She's pretty.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering what was going on with that.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything contrary to what they told us before, but I'll see if I can check on it. If anybody knows anything about it.
Oh, another thing. Did they ever take care of that big dip on 19th Street from Parade to Wallace?
I don't think so.
You remember how when you went over, you dipped down?
I'll take a ride over there on my way home, but I don't think it's been taken care of.
No, they take care of everything else, huh?
Parade to Wallace on 19th.
Yeah.
I'll take a ride over that way.
Yeah, somebody used to call you. Remember her?
Yeah, in fact, I went over and talked with her one day, and she showed me what they were doing in that area. I feel bad for her because that whole area's been kind of like dumped on.
Yeah, there's a junkyard in there. Whatever it is.
And she's a nice lady. I talked to her, and she called. She hopefully with the new administration, we can get them to take a look at that. What's going on down there?
Yeah, I think Joe's going to be a good mayor.
Well, we'll give him. He's going to be in a honeymoon period where we're all going to get used to each other. I think it'll work out. It's got to. If it doesn't, we're in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. Can't have any more infighting.
We can't. We have to start taking that rock that rolled down the hill. We have to start bringing it back up to the top of the hill.
I think you will.
Well, it's not going to be easy. It's going to take cooperation on a lot of different levels. A lot of us, as I said, are going to have to learn to play in the sandbox a little better. We'll see what happens, though.
Oh, okay. Hey, have a good weekend.
You too, Lloyd.
You too, Lloyd.
Bye.
Brick and mortar.
Yeah. But getting back to you, though, your idea. We got a lot of properties. I mean, I don't know if they're big enough. We got Savacchio Industrial Park.
That whole place is empty.
You got right. I don't know if that's enough for what, what you have to do is, you have to get together with all these, here we go with these groups again.
Yeah, you got
all these other groups that own land too. Okay. Hang that thought again. We'll get to it. Go ahead, caller.
Okay, I want to hear what he has to say, so I'm staying on the line. But first, I want to tell you about that. We were down to Kmart East, and this the Big Lot store, and they're closing at the end of the month.
Yep, I was in there, and they told me the same thing.
Wow.
That somebody bought the whole thing up to Subway.
Wow.
Yep, that's what I heard too.
And I heard a rumor about probably what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, it begins with a C, right? Yeah, that's what. That rumor's around. So I mean, I know that company has been looking in the area for a while. So maybe this is their, I could see them doing it.
Yeah.
But is that how far they went to the Subway?
That's what the girl told us.
They're not going to buy like where El Canino's is or anything?
She said something about the Burger King, but they just built the Burger King too. I mean, you don't think they would rip that down. But.
Well, they probably, if we're talking the same company, they probably would, but they'd probably give them a chance to move somewhere else, Kind of like what they did with the, when they built that Sheetz on the other side of town.
Yeah.
They moved that Pizza Hut, or that Little Caesars, whatever it was there, Little Caesars. At the Vendetti site on Liberty.
Yeah.
Where they built the Sheetz, they moved that restaurant to the other side of the street. Built them a new building, but yeah, I thought about the other day when I was up there. I said, would they leave Burger King or take it?
I mean, they just opened that up. It probably was a year ago.
Yeah, because there used to be one there years ago across the street where the Walgreens was, way back. Does this company have gas pumps? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, but when the rumor hit, I'm going. Because I talked to them, and I talked to another company further down the walkway there, and they said the same thing. That they think they're going to have to negotiate. So what I was going to bring up to DJ was that some of these companies, like the Big Lot, they're going to be looking for another place, right?
They're not. They're just going to keep the store on the website.
But maybe we should contact them and say, hey, can we interest you in coming to the east side, into the city?
The reason they're moving because people, the store on 12th Street there sells furniture and stuff.
Yeah.
On the east side store, and they're not big enough. They don't have the furniture and stuff.
It's still, I think, pretty busy store there, though, right?
Well, the rumor I heard, how I started talking to the woman there, the rumor was that they bought part of Kmart and they were going to move there. She says, no, we're closing. He bought the building already, so I don't know.
Yeah, I would love to see, I would like to at least try to get Big Lots to come into the city maybe somewhere,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could use another taxable business,
Yeah, we could use a lot of taxable businesses.
But what DJ and I were talking about is if we can't get if they're not going to build any more of the Best Buys and the different retail stores like the Walmarts and the Pennies, then at least if they're going to go in, online shopping, why can't we get the service centers? The warehouses, a place where they ship the stuff out from.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Those are huge. I've seen them out of town, like I've seen them in Roanoke and Allentown, and they're huge complexes where the stuff comes in, it's milled out. A distribution center. I mean, I think everybody's happy. You probably have FedEx be happy, UPS be happy, the post office be happy.
So I got something about the distribution. Mike, is it possible for you to get the other camera to zoom in on this thing? It might not actually work. Well, I'll just hold it. If you can actually get the camera and actually look at my crappy representation here.
Well, that's really small.
It's very small, but on the TV, you see we have Erie in the middle. We have Erie. We have water for shipping. We have all these lines the airlines run directly through Erie, across and over, and then we have two major highways. We have 90 and we have 79. This is one of...
We got 86.
And 86, right. 86 is Western
Jamestown Road.
Jamestown, okay. You've got every single possible mode and method of transportation and how to get here. You can get here by air, sea, or land. And this is the pristine location for shipping and receiving. So, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
Go ahead, sir. You got anything more? Hello, you still there?
He's gone.
Oh,
Thank you for calling.
This was why when we talked about the Great Airline Project to Germany, a lot of people thought it was pie in the sky, but they were serious about looking for a place to coordinate goods from Eastern Europe to the United States. What made Erie attractive was the fact that it was underutilized.
Yeah.
But we didn't have the long runway at the time because they would be bringing in sizable aircraft.
Right.
So now we got that problem solved.
We've got the runway. We've got the airport.
We don't have the willpower anymore, it looks like. Go ahead, caller.
You know, DJ, I think that map you just put up on the TV.
It was not drawn to scale.
Well, I know, but I think Erie is located like 10 hours from Chicago, 10 hours from New York City.
Yeah.
Trucking wise.
Yeah.
And 10 hours you can get to Charlotte.
I believe that.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it really is, and that's how long a trucker can stay in the saddle.
I think what's Chicago, about 500, right?
Yeah.
Pretty close.
And I mean, it's give or take a few. But I can't remember, and I can't remember where I was at that they said it, but in those three metropolitan areas, the percentage of East Coast population that resides in that triangulation.
I think the only place bigger was what you call the Boston, New York, D.C. corridor with Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But is it Rich?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. You know, Rich, when we went to Europe, they pointed it out to us that once they landed in Erie, what really impressed them was that they had this vast network of, we were like right in the middle of where they wanted us to be.
Yeah.
You know, we had Chicago, we had Charlotte, you had Toronto, you had New York, Boston, Philly.
Pittsburgh.
And it wasn't like, we were like because we were underutilized the airport, it looked like, you know, if they could have easily landed in a Cleveland or a Pittsburgh, but then they had all the traffic to put up with. They were looking for a place where they could slide in, slide out, load up the trucks and using Fenestra building.
We've got that.
And get.
We have everything now.
You remember the Fenestra building, right?
Yeah.
They wanted to use that, you know, and expand it and then get the hell out of town. In other words, you know, let's get on the road and.
Yeah. And there's enough land. Seriously, we just have to acquire some of these big chunks of lands and buildings that are
rail line
empty.
there too.
Yeah.
Right by the airport, you had the rail line.
Oh, I forgot about that. I got to draw the railroad in now.
You know, Kaz, we're going to need a lot of hard work, and we're going to need a little luck.
Yeah, but you know what scares me, Rich, is that, you know, I get beat up in the paper, and that's okay. I can take it, but it's somebody, the leaders that are way up the food chain, that got the ability to, you know, I can, as a council member, I've talked to Joe Schember and a couple of them when they were campaigning. I think we need a very proactive person or persons to go out there and do what other towns are doing, which is, and don't laugh when I say this, okay? But we need to go after Hollywood and say, hey, you know what? How about filming a couple films here? Or, you know, they filmed a film in, where was it? Out east, in the middle of the woods, north of St. Mary's.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
They did a film there. You know, they've talked about...
There was a movie called The Road, which
Yeah.
they used Presque Isle.
Right, but they've talked about doing other movies involving the Niagara, you know.
Well, we have the Four Seasons. It's perfect for that. And
you-
I've talked to other councilmen.
And you got the
about
harbor
this.
and all that, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, and not only that, like DJ brought up, you got all these companies now that are looking for, you know, if online shopping is a thing,
Yeah.
okay, maybe we don't get the brick and mortar stores, but hey, you know what? Why don't we get the distribution center?
Yes.
You know, Kev, what I don't understand, you know, we got fresh water, which so many places desire.
Right.
Got Marcellus shale, so we've got this enormous supply of ways to make heat, which is used in different processes. Why they're just not coming up here to utilize our natural resources and turn Erie back into what it used to be. And you know, I don't long for the days of yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You know something? A lot of people made a good living working at the places that aren't here anymore, and that's what propped up the city and made it what it was. And you know, and I'm not looking backwards. I just think you need a combination of both.
I think that's where we screwed up years ago. When we were a heavy industrial corridor, we kind of poo-pooed the, if you think about it, we kind of poo-pooed the recreational aspect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We looked at Waldemere like, well, that's okay, that's Waldemere. It's a little amusement park, and you know, Nick Scott was but a memory back then. You know, and the whole concept was, you know, that's when it's a shame we didn't have people to say, hey, you know what, things are going well as an industrial corridor, but hey,
Let's add some.
look at our location, right?
Yeah.
You know, think if we would have got the first casino in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, long before Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland did it.
Yeah.
And you know, and the Canadians, you know, we might have been in. I'm not saying, you know, look at Branson, Missouri, came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah. You know, Kaz, you mentioned, this is changing the subject just a little bit, but you mentioned the war room, and I can't ever think of that gal's name from the county who kind of set that up.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to think of her name.
I can think of it. I don't want to say it because I'm going to say it wrong.
But you know, Kaz, you know, and she was an asset. Well, I don't know how much of an asset she was, but she was working with Chris Mong and everybody trying to, you know, turn things around economic development wise. Mm-hmm. But now, with that $1 million
EGRA grant is going to go to the county. Yeah.
I think since she's a county employee, I got a feeling, you know, that she might thumb her nose at the city now a little bit. You know, I mean, she's got to answer to the people that give her a job.
They better remember in the county that if the city goes under, the problem won't stop at Pittsburgh Avenue. It won't stop at Grandview, and it won't stop at Bird Drive.
Yeah.
You know, the problem will increase.
But Kaz, that money should have came. You already were in the process of setting up land banks and getting the ball rolling for blight. And honestly, I think the city, much more than the county, even though they've got blighted areas.
Yeah.
I mean, percentage-wise, the city has the biggest problem that has to be dealt with, and we're still the center, you know, of the county.
Yeah, and we're still setting. You know, we set that up, and it's in the process of being worked out.
Yeah,
and
Kyle Faust jumped on it, and he's going to make it a county this and a county that. You know, and I think, you know, the regionalization is going to come someday. But God darn it, that $1 million should have been utilized in the city. The city's desperate to knock down some houses. And
Councilman Mirsky and I, we asked him for $500,000, and that was just to take care of our public safety problems.
Right,
and that didn't work out. And we don't, for some reason, we don't get any direct money from the casino.
Yeah.
That was a real problem the way they laid out the law, but
contiguous is what hurt us.
Yeah.
I mean, that killed you.
And where was our legislators when that thing happened?
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't know what contiguous meant.
Yeah. They must not have, because it really hurt the city.
Well, yeah. I mean, I look at other cities in the Commonwealth. I hate to pick on it again, but there's Allentown and Bethlehem, Scranton, and all of them that have all benefited. But here we are. We get not a dime. Well, we get the little droppings.
Yeah.
But
you get some crumbs that fall off Perry Wood's table.
Right. Now, you know what? If they didn't want us to put it in our general budget, I could live with that, okay?
Yeah.
I could live with us not squandering the money. So what they could have done easily is set up some restrictions, how we use it, paying for public safety, capital projects, anything to help our budget so that, but what we do need to do, and you're right about this, we need to invest in ourselves.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I will give this, there's a gentleman here, I don't want to mention his name yet until he's comfortable, but he has approached council about setting up various forms of programs that we can use to try to entice people to come here.
Yeah.
When I'm around town with little merchants, I talk to them, and that's one of the big problems. They said, I'd like to do something, but I don't have the money, but I mean, and they may seem like little things, but the little things bring big things.
Yeah, that's right. That's
people laugh at the Dairy Queen. We gave them money to, but that thing on that Dairy Queen on Pine Avenue kind of brightens up the neighborhood there,
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
And then, down the block you got Break Iron Jewelers and Paris Cleaners who have been there for years,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we need to do, is we need to keep people happy that could grow in the future.
Yeah.
Like like Smith's Provisions and those companies.
Right. That's right.
But
yeah. All right, I'm going to let you go though, Kaz. We're winding down a little bit. Somebody might want to call. I don't want to tie you up.
Yeah, we'll have to talk. You and I talk. We'll talk some Friday.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Kaz.
We get some. Maybe we'll bring DJ along and
bring DJ out there. I'll tell him I'll buy him breakfast.
Okay.
As long as it's not some
okay.
sort of weird
I'll
suit.
talk to you, Kaz.
Yeah, you can't wear your shark suit.
I won't wear my shark head.
But I like your idea, but we need somebody.
Who's going to sell it? Can you guys make a thing?
Well,
council
it's really
telling the mayor's office they have to hire this
is why you
person?
have an administrative branch.
Yeah.
Council can say, and I will bring it up. That I think, but he's already kind of said he's going to do it.
Oh,
yeah. So what I want to see is, okay, send somebody out there proactive, but find somebody that has the tools in the business.
Yeah.
That knows the problems.
Yeah.
In other words, the airport, they hired a guy when we were in Europe that knew his way around the political spectrum, which is important.
Yes.
Knew his way around the boardroom a little bit, and knew how to deal with these egos that are out there. So you have to be able to sit down I remember I had a conversation with Nick Scott once, and I said, I was at a dinner, and I said, there's got to be a reason why Nick Scott has never invested in Erie.
Yeah.
And I said, I got to believe nobody ever talked to him.
Right.
Or asked him.
Yeah.
And he kind of told me afterwards, yeah, it was part of it. So, I mean, here we are now. He's been approached. He's got a sizable piece of our future down there on the dock. Now's the time to say to him, hey, you know what? And he kind of said in the paper the other day about, this is his big project, and he sold a couple of his other things. He's trying to, keep his business in control. And his son will be taking over. Now's the time to set up a nice dialogue and say, hey, is there any way, we get some of your other stuff,
Oh, sure. That would be great.
What do we need to do? That's why this thing that I didn't want to say publicly yet that is being worked on about these little loans and stuff or little incentives that we can work on.
Yeah.
They need to be pushed out there properly so that, people get mad. Yeah, here we go, we're giving out tax breaks or giving out loans. But, sometimes.
That sunrise thing.
If you pick them out right, though.
Yeah.
If you pick them out right.
Yeah.
We lent money out to Erie Insurance. They haven't moved.
Right.
They're paying taxes.
Right.
Hiring people. We did the same thing with.
After this, if we get time, I want to talk to you about GE.
And we did the same thing with Smith's Provisions.
Right.
Go ahead, caller.
Hi, Kaz. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, who's responsible for enforcing people that are parking across the sidewalk with their cars or right on the sidewalk?
Well, that's an interesting problem. That could be any one of three places. The sidewalks, though, is strictly engineering and or police, depending on whether they have license plates or not.
What do you mean license plates? I mean, the cars are, they drive them on the side. I mean,
Where are you talking about specific, and I can help you?
it's all over the city, but...
Oh, yeah. Well, I just came down Parade. There was a problem. You got three businesses on Parade Street on the east side, and it goes from like about 18th to 23rd. Some of the cars are being serviced. They have license plates. They're drivable. Others have no plates on them. They look like they're for sale. So when I brought up the issue, they said that the police will tag the cars that are movable, and engineering will take care of other things that obstruct the right-of-way. So it's kind of like a joint project.
Yeah, I thought, well, the street I live on, there's like 3 or 4 new neighbors that moved into this block, and they're right over the curb, right on their front lawn. Now, is it illegal to go over the curb?
I really don't know. You mean to drive over your curb?
Right.
I don't think it's recommended, but I don't know if it's illegal.
Yeah, I thought it was, city property. If they damage it, it's like...
Yeah, that would come, because a lot of moving trucks do that when they, load.
Absolutely. I remember years ago when I used to work for a produce company, and they'd come right around and give you a ticket when you went over that curb.
Yeah, and I don't know if we've ever done it since then. The problem is, you can park on your front lawn if you have it blacktopped and or graveled properly, but only after the engineering department has looked at it and given you permission, because we're dealing with groundwater problems and
you're also, like the street I live on here, I mean, they're parking right on their lawn. There's no gravel, or they say they're going over the curb.
Yeah, some of them are way out of hand, and I'll say this, that there has been no push by code enforcement or anybody else to really push the issue. Even though, we complained about Councilman Mirsky and I complained for years about East 38th Street near Mercyhurst.
Yeah.
How that was starting to, degrade, and if you drive around the city, you see it everywhere now.
Well, when you go across the city right away, there's gas and water utilities there.
Yes, there are.
And you got that valve just right on top of your lawn with a plate on it. You run over that and you bust the valve below.
Yeah, you should be, held accountable.
With the gas company. I mean, they're right down and,
it's like nobody really cares anymore. It saddens me, but...
Can council pass an ordinance that puts it in one place that says police are responsible for this, or code enforcement? Now this is all you. People parking on sidewalks.
I have to check the ordinance, but the way the ordinance is there, it just, every administration determines how they want to enforce it. Like who's going to do it because of manpower issues?
Well, what you guys got to do is sit down with New Joe and figure out the language.
Well, I think with this Joe, you still there, sir?
Yeah, I'm right.
Well, we have to look at, there's many forms of blight. Blight is not just houses that are bad.
Yeah.
It could be the property around it, or it could be how the property looks because of, like, you got unsightly cars stored there, or you go down Parade Street. Is that really what you want to see?
Speaking of Parade Street, on 2nd Street, on Parade between 2nd and Front, there's a Erie Insurance security car parked totally across the sidewalk, right up against the bumper, another car in front of it, and there's no way a wheelchair could get by that.
Yeah, see, that's what gets me. That
I'm going to take a picture of it and send it to them over there.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, send it right to your insurance. Tell them.
I do. This guy's supposed to be out here for safety, and he's parked across.
I would definitely get a picture.
Sometimes the worst offenders are, like I come into work now, and like on Pine Avenue, you got the kids in the apartments. You got too many cars now, so they're parked on the sidewalk.
Another thing I had a little comment on, I went to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert.
How'd you like it?
It was great.
I used to go there. I didn't go this year because I think I saw it before.
It was great, but what happened was there was there was 15,000 people downtown that night because of other events going on and
Right.
that concert. And you could not put enough money in the parking meter if you wanted to get there a little early. And I seen people with tickets all the way up and down Front Street. That was wrong. They want people to come downtown.
Yeah.
Well, this is why we've been pressing since March, or when we sent it up to upstairs. We told them to get it done, get the ordinances cleaned up like we wanted, because there's a component to making this happen. And I've been talking with the parking authority director. I will give him your complaints again, that we got to make this happen, because we told him we're in favor of doing whatever it takes to get the new technology in there so that you can load an app or you can load your meter as you want, okay?
Yeah, I talked to people that they put enough money in the meter, but they were taking a chance because it's going to be 15 minutes over.
Yep.
And, to get a ticket or not, and they were really out in force, and like I say, it was really crazy going on down there. That EU, it was...
Did you get a ticket, sir?
No, I parked in the parking ramp. I got a place in the park. I'm lucky.
Yeah, but we explained them. Like, think if you're in a ball game and all of a sudden it goes extra innings.
Right.
You can't leave the ballpark and come back in.
No.
Or nor can you leave the TSO concert and get reentry.
I've been to cities where that's a fantastic thing. I mean, I forget.
We've been working on it for 2 years.
Yeah.
The paperwork's all upstairs waiting to go.
It's going to go. It's got to happen.
I'll bring your complaints up once again, sir.
I go to you want to go downtown maybe and have a meal at one of the restaurants, and then you got to add a couple of bucks to your bill because you're going to pay a parking meter. And I've been in there where the owner of the restaurant ran out and put money in my meter for me. I said, wow, I got to go out and put money in there.
Wow.
And, I don't know. Why don't they put parking meters every street in Erie? Every street. Why just State Street? I seen a meter made right past 17 parking meters on State Street that were expired and didn't give them a ticket. 17, I counted them.
If you ever see that happen again, give me a call.
They're going on the side streets where people that have to work down here and they're banging their cars because they know that car's going to be there every day.
Yeah.
Well, work down there, they're going to run out and put money in the meter.
If you see that happen again, you call me personally, okay?
Oh, yeah, I should have videoed that. I got one of the dash cams in my car. I should have videoed.
There you go, because I used to work for him way back. I'll give you a disclaimer. Mm-hmm. So I still got a lot of friends down there, but I'll give them a little nudge and I'll say, what's going on? Come on,
Well, that's why I avoid downtown. I really do.
I don't want you to, but,
I really do. I avoid downtown.
We've talked about with the new technology, you don't get a ticket. It's a lot better. You don't mind feeding your meter, up to a certain time.
Exactly, yeah.
Like if you're in the ballpark and you know the meter's expired at 6,
yep.
Okay, and you can't, you could sit there at the ballpark and, just...
Yeah, right. Like they say, if it goes over innings.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to leave TSO concert. You can't come back in. They have no reentry, isn't it?
Had a real problem there the second night. Did you hear some people missed 15 minutes of the show?
Why, couldn't get in?
Oh, they had that security, you throw your... the cell phone and a thing. And
they said that doesn't affect it.
People were standing outside, lined up the second night. I was there the first night, the first show. And
that kind of got to me
last. Two shows the same night, but the second show was bad. A lot of people missed 15 minutes of it because it was so.
That got to me last year. That's what kind of made me mad this year too, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I had it happen to me last year, and there's nothing you can do because you're behind somebody.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, it's like being at the airport. You're going, come on, I'm ready to go.
We got to get going here, so we're going to have to let you go, sir.
Okay, I'll check with you guys later about the parking down there.
Yeah, right. Well, it's been passed, so I'm going to tell them about your problem.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Have a good one. I'm done with that.
Yep, go ahead.
I wanted to hit that one and see if it hangs up on people.
There you go.
That was going to be my test.
So before we go off the air, I like your idea.
No, I got to go. Bye.
I like your idea there, Sharkman, or what the heck?
Yes, let's talk about fundraising.
Well, with that, there's only one thing we can do. Put a hook in that guy. Eddie Kissel, where are you when we need you? But on behalf of Sharkman here and Councilman Kwiatkowski, we will see you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.